something we were talking about earlier, the fact that there are non-elemental spells. It's great when you're doing it against enemies, because if they have elemental protections, they will not be able to defend against spells like Nuke, for example. The unfortunate thing is that there are non-elemental spells that can be cast against you, not just Nuke, but some of the other ones. And your ribbon is not going to protect you against any of that, which is part of the reason why. Part of the reason why Trinton is actually showing some respect to Lich right here is because of the fact that we're expecting a first turn Nuke off of Lich 2 here.
Yeah, if he casts a spell, that's what he's going to do. So,
Yep.
As long as I'm full health, all is well.
So you haste up so you can do more damage so that when you start swinging against him, and there it is, there's that flare, that first turn Nuke we were expecting, and that will go right through the ribbon, because ribbon don't care. Thankfully, you have a ton of health, so... And even in this version of the game where all the bosses have buffed stats, Lich is still a pathetic speed bump.
And I will throw this out there now, just as we're starting to get close. We're only a couple minutes away from Chaos. SpeedGaming, if you want me to keep going and do the bonus dungeon incentive, or if you want to get back, if you want the time back to keep the marathon on schedule, give me a heads up in the chat there, and we'll...
I just heard from Fiesel, and he says we can do the bonus dungeon.
Alright, fantastic.
Awesome.
Welcome back, everyone. Apparently we had a quick refresh there.
Well,
everyone
that
is
is
feeling refreshed.
That is the thing with the system. It does need to get refreshed once in a while, otherwise it runs for days and starts to lag, so... But yes, we will be doing the bonus dungeon after this. Hopefully you guys got to see the Lich kill, where Lich was completely destroyed in 2 rounds. And I know you don't even respect Carrie at all. No haste. And you don't even heal for her either, despite the fact that she casts Fire 3.
No, she's not as strong a mage, and that's elemental, so we've got the ribbon to resist it. I probably should have done haste. It may have speeded that up by 1 round.
Maybe.
Depending on
Well,
crits.
it depends. It took you 3 rounds to kill her.
Yeah, so I would have had to one-shot her to make it...
To make it worthwhile, yeah. Because otherwise it would have been a wash. And maybe slower, honestly, because of the fact that you'd have to cast these.
Right, so Seafood Party Platter here. Again, the levels are already sufficient. I don't need anything, but then you get water elementals in their own levels, so nothing I can do.
Well, and trying to get away from that with your run chance, even if it is okay, there's still only so much you can do. Yeah, water elementals, earth elementals, and fire elementals in the game are all unrunnable. Air elementals, for whatever reason, are not.
In fact, I made use of that earlier. I was actually running away from the air elementals.
I just forgot to comment on it at the time. I do think, if I'm not mistaken, though, the air elemental paired with the Gurnaga, though, is unrunnable.
No, that's runnable.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I could have sworn there was some weird thing about that,
but it's decent experience.
Oh yeah, no, the Gurnaga is fantastic experience. It's like the Sky Palace's version of the EXP pinatas. You see it and you're like, well, I could probably take this one.
It's a case of they're like 80% of an eye. The eye is just ridiculously good, so it's good.
Oh yeah. White Sharks are decent experience, but without the big eye, they're not worth as much. However, of course, you still just judge the staff to try and get everything to go away.
Yeah, again, it's just the run chances aren't great, and now we're talking about high-level stuff instead of low-level stuff. So the less time I can waste, the better. And then this happens! This has been the most obnoxious encounter rate I have ever seen on a playthrough of this game.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's awful. You can't get away from anything, forced to fight way too much. It's crazy. So for those that are wondering, yes, it is a red mage with 3 other heroes that are laying on the ground. They're not dead, though. They're actually there making sure the floor doesn't run away. They are doing a very important task.
Can't let that floor escape.
Where would we fight if we didn't have the floor? So you're gonna haste up this time and get ready to fight Kraken. Kraken 2... Oh, he's doing Thunder. Does he traditionally do a lot of melee hits in this version of the game?
Against the survival vests, it's just nothing.
Okay.
It's the best absorb armor, so there's just not taking any damage from him.
And
I would rather he do physical attacks.
Yeah, no kidding. 2 powerful sword swings from you, and Kraken is dealt with, and we're already that much farther into the dungeon. Like, I think it's the encounter rate itself that's proving to be the boss to you this time, and not really the bosses.
I'd say that's fairly accurate. So I do use haste on these to cut a round off. It would take 1 or 2 more rounds to beat Tiamat and Kraken, without question. Thunderbolt's going to be pretty strong. He can also do non-elemental damage with poison. This... Well, that would be an insta-kill. That would be toxic in the NES.
That's the stone poison. Yeah, Scourge. No, Toxic's a death spell, isn't it? Stone Poison's a different thing. Yeah. Because of the confusing thing about the NES, where there's 3 different spells that use poison or poison-like names, and you're like, which one is this again? More Mind Flayers with their death touch that you probably aren't going to see.
It wouldn't really matter if they tried at this point.
So how's our level looking at this point, since we're at Chaos?
55 is about as high as I've ever done this fight at, so we're in great shape, but I do need to do just a little bit of inventory management. Where's that defense? It's an elixir somewhere.
I was about to tell you where it was, but you, like, are about good 10-15 seconds ahead of me on stream, so there's no point in pointing it out to you.
So I've got a very specific opening sequence that I do against Chaos, but what he does is actually random.
So I saw you have the Giant's Tonic there. Is that a consumable saber spell, or does it do something else?
It increases your max HP. It's single use for the battle, and I'm going to use one of them here, but I purchased 11 in case of Warmech.
Fair.
Alright, nice to start first.
Right here. So you get the Giants... Oh, you're going to get the Defender out first. That's the defense sword, the casting runes on yourself?
That's correct, so we want 3 of those to max the evade.
I know that the spell effect, it gives you the blink effect there, which is kind of simpler in style in the later games.
Alright, just need to not see a terrible damage roll here. Good.
Perfect.
Alright, we need to do one more defender.
I was wondering. I thought the count was a 2.
Yeah, it's just a question of how much damage he does. If he happens to miss a melee attack, I can get all 3 up before I have to heal. But you need 2 rounds because you have to use the Giant's Tonic first.
Yeah.
Alright, here comes slow. That's actually a good time for it, but we still want it to miss.
As all of your party members land on the ground face first, but only one of them gets back up.
Alright, now it's on. This Chaos has 20,000 HP. There's our first 2,000. You think this is good music? The bonus music is better. That's 4,000.
Are we on largely hold A and pray strats now?
No, we're still gonna have to heal.
Okay.
Unless he just does an amazing sequence of melee hits. 6,000.
And we're still worried about that Cure 4 coming out from him and healing himself back to full, correct?
It's actually the reason I need 3 full heals.
Okay.
And that was a shield block. Nice. So 8,000. 12. No, 10. 12. I'm obviously very much rounding. It's more like 13 right now.
Yeah.
If not 14.
He had some low hits, but she also had some really nice high hits, so it all kind of comes out as a wash.
And
when you're talking about having to do 20,000 damage to him, an ish is still kind of, similar.
And there's the full heal. He's still got like 5,000 damage on him though. So that's gonna be around 7.
Yeah, because he can only heal himself for 9,999. He can't heal up the full 20 grand he has.
Correct.
Which is part of what makes this a whole lot easier to play than the NES version.
Yeah, this is a level 54, 55 Red Mage. He has a lot of MP to answer a question in
lot
chat.
of everything. Chat's still discussing Final Fantasy II, which we raised earlier, or calling it Saga Zero, which is honestly quite accurate.
Yeah, I need turn order to work out here. We're good.
Cool.
And he shouldn't have enough time to roll back to Cure 4.
So this puts us in the range of how much damage does he have on him right now?
Oh, I've lost count, but we're somewhere around 12, 15.
Okay. So we're looking at maybe 5 more hits max.
That should be the next 2 or 3.
Okay.
Biggest danger in this fight is early, and that's cheap.
I can't even see it yet.
We'll give you a chance, I'll let him fade off screen, and then I'll reset, we'll go to the bonus dungeon.
Ooh, watch this pretty death animation. As he gets sucked down into a pit. I guess depowered and sent back to the future again, where no one remembers that you fought him and everything resets again. This game is confusing. Time travel, am I right? GG's, though. Well done there. Okay, so we're setting out. We're going to go do the Earth Swamp Dungeon, or whatever it's called.
Earth Gift Shrine.
There we go.
So it happens to be right here. It's unlocked by defeating Lich.
Yeah, I saw there was a cave entrance right over here. I didn't comment it on time because we were hurrying past in the first couple minutes of the game. But that is not a cave entrance that appears in the NES version. That is exclusive to the bonus dungeons right there.
Correct. Now, my levels aren't as good as they were for Chaos, but they're still pretty good. We're in the high 40s. All right.
Yeah, for this dungeon, which you can actually get into pretty early in the game, your 45 should be just fine.
Yeah. So I'll actually be able to run away from most things here, but whenever they're one of these standing guard enemies, I have to kill them.
Okay. And you get variants of all the enemies that you wouldn't see in the traditional game. So we do see imps normally, or goblins, but now we get black goblins. And they gave you a potion. Hooray!
So incidentally, that 223 is still like my 4th best time in this category.
That's awesome.
I should have run from this. Question in chat, which boss will I fight? I'm going to do the Cerebrus here.
What are the boss options in this dungeon, do you know?
I can scroll down on this and tell you. One's the Double Dragon. One is the really weird hanging from the ceiling dude. And one is the Death Eyeball, like you would think from Final Fantasy.
Okay. Are any of them based on bosses from other games, or are these just random enemies?
The boss eyeball in this case probably would be based on later versions, because he looks exactly the same. In other dungeons, you can actually fight Final Fantasy IV bosses like the Fiends of the Elements.
Yeah, I knew some of them showed up, and like, doesn't one of the dungeons have the guy with the swords, whose name is now
Gilgamesh.
Thank you.
I believe he does, but I don't know
word.
which one off the top of my head.
Yeah. Everyone loves Gilgamesh and his awesome song.
Well, Battle on the Bridge is quite the song. was watching somebody play Final Fantasy V for the first time, and they were having a little bit of a rough go with it, and I said, well, if it makes you feel any better, you're about to hear one of the best songs in RPGs. Because he was right before battle on the bridge. And then he gets to there, and he's like, okay, I dig this.
There are parts of that game I struggle with, but man, that song really helps to elevate it so much. We did have a comment in chat saying that you were still going with the solo Red Mage and how that was gutsy. That is the name of this game. This is the solo Red Mage run.
Yeah, well, I mean, what good would the level 1 party members do me here anyways?
Yeah, it's true. They're just meat shields that would die.
But I don't need meat shields.
Nope.
Now, theoretically, I could glitch Judgment Staffs onto them, but they would just do weaker flares that I don't need.
So just reminding you, we are here for the No Kid Hungry Marathon in support of that fantastic organization hosted here on SpeedGaming. If you're interested, please donate. We appreciate all the donations that people provide for this, for the next couple days still of this fantastic marathon.
I'm being corrected, it's battle on the big bridge. I wouldn't want to be in error on that front.
I just think of it as Gilgamesh's theme, because it also plays a couple other times when you fight against it, so... And basically, a version of it shows up in every game where Gilgamesh shows up, so...
So, this is actually not bad RNG. The encounter rate in this area is that bad. This is pretty normal on this walk. Which is why I was giving myself 10 minutes for it. It's not that long, it's 5 floors.
It doesn't seem that bad. And I like the fact that you go down a floor into a dungeon and end up in this weird, dark forest. It's got a cool vibe to it.
It does, and this would definitely challenge you at a lower level if you were trying to do this right after Cave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I'd probably wait until after I'd gone and gotten my floater and gotten a few levels off of an eye before I'd even attempt this normally. And especially if you're trying to do this without the benefit of having those broken judgment staves.
So the inspiration for this run was actually watching the PSP Any% run, and they do the equipment. I'm like, how could I use that to have some real fun in this? Then I thought, well, you know, if I had that flare, I wouldn't even need 4 other... Oh, boy. So I just got the worst RNG for this part. This can drop you in one of, like, 8 random places.
Okay.
And as you can see, there was absolutely no distinguishing landscape marks, whatever you want to call it.
Feature,
characteristics.
Yeah.
Where I landed. Okay, that's too far a walk.
So you just kind of have to sense where you're at and walk another direction?
Yeah, there are things that can tell you, okay, 3 with the chest. Wow, this is... If I'm right on this is great. It's just a question of figuring out where it dropped you, and if it drops you with no trees around, it's a lot harder to figure out where you are. But once you understand that it's not actually that long, if you don't see anything in too long, then you figure out, okay, reset, go the other direction. Because there's my staircase.
Nice. And we had desert peeds there. Weird, like, scorpions are not actually peed enemies. It's very strange.
By the way, the order you get those floors in is random.
The entire dungeon's kind of randomized, isn't it? The first floor remains the same, and then, like, every floor afterwards between until the last floor is randomized, and then you just get down here and then pick your boss?
It's just the order that's randomized. They're the same floors. It's just which order you get them in. So here we go. Here's Cerebrus. Let people enjoy the music. Okay.
Wish we had some of these alt bosses in the randomizer, I'm saying.
And there we go. That's the Earthgrift Shrine. And that is Final Fantasy 1 with just a red mage, because 1 is all we need.
Only need 1. Well, thank you for having me on here with you, Trinton. This was fun.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Speed Gaming, and hope everybody has had a fun time this morning. And there's a lot more fun ahead as we hand things back to Speed Gaming.
Thank you, Speed Gaming.